Latest football news, engaging debates,
and fascinating opinions.
Pitchside talk on IO Radio. So kicking off the games this weekend, it is Burnley versus Arsenal, and for Burnley midfielder Jack Cork has sustained a hamstring problem against Leicester in the midweek and will be assessed before the match, and Ashley Barnes is still out for the Clarets. But for Arsenal, Mikel Arteta says there's a hip issue for Smith Rowe, which he picked up against Leicester, but it is not serious, but it's unclear whether he will be fit at all for this game. Piers, quite ironically, these two last games for these sides were versus Leicester. Burnley got a draw and Arsenal got a win. For Arsenal, if they win, they'll go back into ninth, getting closer to that Europa League spots. And with a size like Liverpool slipping up at the moment and West Ham getting that loss, this could be a good moment for them. But for Burnley, they want to build on that draw they got.
Yeah, definitely. I think, it was a brilliant result for both sides against Leicester, really. Obviously, Burnley, a key draw for them, just gaining points here and there. They want to build themselves up the table, not even get themselves even close to that conversation of going in the drops. That's big for them. Arsenal, on the other hand, this is their chance to just try and climb as high as they can in the season and see if they can gain some European. Obviously, Aston Villa have been slipping up recently, so it'll be good. It'll be good for Arsenal. And I thought they played quite well against Leicester, to be honest. So I think it'll be an interesting game against the two teams. Burnley have been a little bit off and on. They've been getting draws and a loss, whereas Arsenal, it was a good win, but they've lost a few in the last. But ever since since the Benfica game, they've looked pretty good. So I'd imagine Arsenal will get the win here, and I'm going to go for 2-0 to Arsenal.
So it's Sheffield United versus Southampton today, and for Sheffield United, Phil Jagielka must serve a one-match ban after getting sent off against Aston Villa in the midweek. But also Chris Basham, John Egan, Bogle and O'Connor are still out on the sidelines for the Blades. But for Southampton, Carl Walker-Peters and Minamino have all returned to training, but will be assessed before the game to see if they could start. But Piers here, Sheffield United, they got to win last time out, ending that run of 4. If they win here today, they'll go ahead of West Brom in trying to escape from the bottom 4, which we don't know if it's still mathematically possible for them. But for Southampton, they're looking to try and get that first victory since Liverpool, and they need to get winning, because not, they're going to slip into a relegation battle here.
Yeah, it's, getting close for Southampton. It's about 7 points. I'm sure when they said stop the count, that they would have wished the count would have been stopped, because they haven't done great since. So, but Southampton, I think that this is the chance. This is the chance for them to get the win. Obviously, I know Sheffield United done well, and Sheffield United got a win against Aston Villa, who are a great side. But this is Southampton's chance. Obviously, they got the draw from Chelsea recently, but this should be the win on the plate for them. At this bottom of the league, terrible form, only won 4 games this season. So Southampton have got every chance to win this. On the other hand, Sheffield United, they'll be hard as ever. This will be the perfect game for them, a team that hasn't won in over 6-7 games that they can try and nick 3 points off and put the pressure on West Brom because they drew during the week. So it's going to be a really interesting game. And to be honest, I think Southampton, this will be their bounce back game. I think they'll get the win, and this will build some confidence for them. Although Sheffield United, got the win, I think Southampton should do the job, and I'm going to go for 1-0 to Southampton.
So today it is Aston Villa versus Wolves for the tea time game on Saturday. And for Aston Villa, Dean Smith has said Jack Grealish, the captain, is looking pain-free, but is unlikely to make his comeback in this game because of a shin problem that has put him up for the last 3 games. Also, Matty Cash and Wesley are near returning to fitness for Villa. But for Wolves, Willy Bolly could start after returning from his injury, and he was an unused substitution in the defeat to the Manchester City in the midweek. But there is still no more news on Raul Jimenez to see when he'll be returning for Wolves. But Piers here, a big game really for both sides. Aston Villa, they lost last time out to Sheffield United, a very disappointing result, losing to a 10-men Sheffield United. But for Wolves, they lost 4-1 to Manchester City, and at one point, it was 1-1. So for both sides here, this is going to be a perfect opportunity for them to bounce back.
Yeah, good opportunity for both teams to play each other, similar places in the table. It'll be good for them. Wolves and Aston Villa have both been a bit inconsistent as of lately, so that'd be great for them. Aston Villa obviously been missing some key players at the moment. I'm sure they would have loved to have Jack Grealish during the week. Unlucky for them against Sheffield United, just weren't at the races really. Wolves, on the other hand, I thought, they gave it a good go against Man City. It was 1-1 for so long, for about 82 minutes, and then I think Man City just do what they do and just rip through them towards the end. Wolves. Well, I think they try to go for the win, and that's just what happens. But it'll be an interesting game too. Similar teams. I feel like they've got similar problems at the moment, so I think that they'll go for the win, but I think it'll end up in a draw, and we're going to go for a 1-1.
So it's Brighton versus Leicester here for the Saturday night game. And for Brighton, they will assess the fitness of Aaron Connolly, who suffered a back spasm of June training on Thursday. Lamptey has been seen a specialist following his setback from his recovery from his hamstring issue. No more injuries to report from Brighton. But for Leicester, they've got 7 injured players at the moment, and none of them expected to return in time for this game. Piers, Brighton, they've only had 1 win in the last 5. They're slowly dropped towards that relegation battle game between Newcastle and Fulham. They're only 3 points off the relegation zone. So a win is quite important for them. But for Leicester, they need to get back to winning here. I know they've got several key players, but they had at that sort of the Arsenal and Burnley game, and they only got 1 point out of those 6 games here. And with Chelsea and West Ham and Everton closing in on them, a victory here is very key for them.
Yeah, pressure for both sides, really. Obviously, for Brighton, getting close to that drop, it always seems to be when it gets close, they seem to be able to pull it back. So, but 2 losses in a row wasn't great against West Brom as well. One of those they should have probably nicked something there. Leicester, on the other hand, it's a bit like last season. I feel like the pressure's starting to pile on for them. So it'll be interesting to see if they can adapt from last season, because now the injuries are piling up, and Chelsea getting a strong result, West Ham still getting results, and Everton still getting results. I'm sure Leicester would have hoped that these teams would have started to fall off by now. But Everton looking strong, West Ham and Chelsea still looking good. So it's a lot of pressure building up on Leicester now, and it's 3 points between them and Chelsea, and with all the injuries, so it's going to have to be a big result against Leicester. I don't think it's a walk in the park, this Brighton game. How I think it's going to go, I'm not sure. If they don't win this, I think it will only get worse for Leicester. But I think they'll just be able to get the win against Brighton, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 to Leicester.